I'm Bianca Miller, founder and director of the B Group and diverse hosiery brand Bianca Miller London. And I provide personal branding services and a diverse range of hosiery for all skin tones. I grew up in South London. I was born in Croydon and basically have lived in South London the rest of my life. And I started out my business really working in the city as a HR advisor to a large company called Accenture before deciding to start my own business. And fundamentally, I wanted to help people understand the importance of their personal brand on their career trajectory. You know, how should they communicate? What should they wear? What should they be saying when they meet someone for the first time, and networking and so on. And that's really how I started my first business. So I had a personal struggle in getting the right shade of nude hosiery to suit my skin tone. So I decided to start doing the research and I created a business plan. And then one day my husband came home and said, I think you should apply for The Apprentice. And I said no. And eventually he persuaded me to apply and I managed to get on the show out of 80,000 people that apply every year. And by going on the show, I managed to get to the final. And I pitched my idea to redefine nude hosiery. And that has now resulted in my brand, Bianca Miller London, which is 8 shades of nude hosiery from English rose to dark African skin tones. We've also just launched in Topshop, which has given us an amazing opportunity to have international presence. We're in 3 stores in London, 1 in Edinburgh, 1 in Birmingham, and then 2 in New York and 1 in Chicago, which has really helped us to reach more women and provide that real diversity that has been lacking so far. I think one of the biggest challenges I've had was probably starting my business at the age of 22. You know, I was starting a business that was about personal branding, saying that I was an expert in personal brand and I was only 22. You know, I'd go into meetings and making those calls and sounding, you know, quite mature on the phone and then going to the meeting and them looking at me like, oh, are you the same person? And just being able to overcome that. A lot of, I guess, my insecurities at the time came from within. And actually, once I started getting clients and then realizing how good I was, I built that credibility, but I also built my own confidence. And that really helped me to keep going and reaching out to more clients and building the client base that we now have has been largely because of that journey and you know, those challenges and overcoming them. And I've learned so much from every single hurdle I've had to overcome. I think the quote I live by is, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And I think it's hard to really go beyond that. I think lots of people get to a certain level in their career where they think they're really important and they forget that actually it doesn't cost you very much to be a nice person too. So that's really always been my motto. The highlight so far for me has probably been creating Bianca Miller London because, you know, I didn't know anything about retail. To some degree, I probably still don't. And I'm learning every day. And the fact that I could take a concept which I'm probably not the first woman to have thought of. You know, there's lots of women out there who struggled getting hosiery and not being able to achieve the right nude and have thought of doing it, but I've actually taken that concept and made it a reality. And to overcome the different scenarios I've had to endure, going to meetings and being told that it wasn't necessary, that maybe black women didn't need tights. For me, that was shocking. And to actually have said to people, well, whether that's what you think or not, I'm going to do it anyway, and launch it online and then to go into Topshop, that for me is an incredible story and has been an amazing part of my journey. I think the important thing when you're thinking about starting a business is really, number one, to do the research. Start thinking about your idea, get it down on paper, and start thinking about how you're going to make it a reality. Then find someone that you trust that can look at your dream and your idea with you and really start working on the steps to making that come true. And then do the research. Understand who your target market is, who your target customers are, where do they buy, where would they be happy to find you, and how much they're willing to spend. And then number 4 is probably to have a personal survival budget. How much do you need to actually survive to get to that point where that business becomes a reality? And then actually doing it. Do the prototype, go out there, tell people about your product or service. You know, it's not a business until someone else knows it's a business. I think a lot of people have great ideas in their head, but they're just too afraid to make it come true. And the most important thing about making a dream a reality is actually to start doing it. And it's probably so easy for me to say, but it is hard, it is difficult, but it's worth it.